Okay, hi YouTubers. So I'm here to try to do my video for Yule incense. We'll see how it goes. There's a lot of people home, so we may get interrupted, but I started already, and I figured I would just kind of jump in on it. I'm doing two different kinds of Yule incense this year. One is more for ritual, and one is like a really nice smelling, maybe for Yule morning to welcome the sun, that kind of thing. So the first thing that I did, and I don't even have one to show you, is I went and gathered some of the pine branches that had fallen and were a little bit dried out, and pulled a bunch of them off and put them into my two different bowls. So I'm going to do the really kind of nice smelling one first. What I learned through doing this is that you need less pine than you think, because the pine really kind of overwhelms the whole scent. So for both of these, excuse me, I'll be using juniper berries. And for, say, one part of pine, you use one part of juniper berries and one part of everything else we're going to do. So just a little bit, little bit, little bit. You kind of do it until you think it smells good. The other thing that I used in this one was some mistletoe, dried mistletoe. That's a good seasonal thing to use. I used nutmeg, because that has a very good smell to it. Seasonally. And what am I missing? There's something else that I used in here. Juniper berries, pine, nutmeg, mistletoe. Oh, frankincense. And I used frankincense. So, just, actually, frankincense is the resin I used. And I might put just a tad bit more into that. Okay, so you put all of that. Now I have, I think, a little bit too much pine, so probably as I'm grinding, I'm going to leave some of that pine behind and get some of the other ingredients in there a little bit more. The thing with Yule incense is that it needs to be ground really good. That pine scent doesn't release itself until you grind those needles, those pine needles. So, can you see? And I would use less pine than what I have here. Like I said, I think I'm going to leave some out. Actually, I'll be making a couple batches, so it'll all get used. But so I have a little grinder here that I cleanse and put my intent in as I'm doing my work. I did just cleanse it recently for the last full moon. So the intent for Yule, at least my intent for this incense, is to welcome the sun. So I want kind of a welcoming, rebirth, awakening kind of feel to it. So as I am putting some of my mixture into my little grinder here, and again, like I said, I'm trying to leave behind some of the pine that's in there and start with some of the other stuff. So, and the juniper berries are a little hard to grind up, but that smell that they release really adds to the Yule incense, so that's good. So you're going to grind it up. Welcoming the sun, and put it into your dish, and drop it in there. So this is the same thing that you do for the other incense. The other incense that is for ritual that I'm doing is pine, juniper berries, which I use for both, frankincense. I'm adding myrrh, the mistletoe I'm using, and cedar. That one I'm putting cedar into, and the myrrh is very overwhelming too. So a little bit of myrrh, maybe half of what you would use the frankincense. because the myrrh is very, very strong. Same thing though, grind them up. Use what you want to use though. That is, you know, what I feel I like for the holiday. Feel free to put in different stuff that you like. Cinnamon, a lot of people use cinnamon for Yule. That cinnamon smell comes from Samhain very nicely into the Yule season. I have used star anise in it. That's a really nice smell to kind of add a little fruitiness into it. What else have I used? Cinnamon, star anise, cloves. Cloves works good for this too. I just use cinnamon and clove a lot for Samhain, so I tend to leave that out a little bit. And make sure you always add your salt in there also. So that is all for this one. And when you're all done, you grind it all up and put your intent in there, and then you are all set. So blessed be. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.